Hey there, hello there. Chef Cutter Diamond welcoming you to yet another Cutter Top 10 NFL video. And today we're going to be looking at the top 10 NFL worst uniforms in history. The uniforms that just make you want to rinse your eyes out with lemon juice. But anyhow, these uniforms kind of suck. Well, I am wearing my Patriots shirts today, but fortunately, the Patriots actually did not get into the top 10 worst uniforms of all time. I was thinking of putting the Patriot Pat 3-point stance jerseys, the red jerseys, but I'd be doing them a disservice, all that, so I couldn't do it. I tried, but I couldn't. All right, so let's go ahead. Number 10 is the creamsicle jerseys of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay may have a strong jersey, that. And this is not actually the last time you'll hear Tampa Bay in this list. There'll be one more time. But the fact of the matter is, the creamsicles, some say are retroly cool, but basically the Buccaneer on the helmet, not threatening at all. If it was a threatening Buccaneer and all that, threatening pirate, then yeah, like the Raiders doing, yeah, then it would work out. But the orange shirts, they look like creamsicles and all that. It was kind of awkward, and it took them 20 years to get rid of those with their normal red and brown and all that. But which is pretty cool and all that. So you can't hate on them forever. Number 9 is the Buffalo Bills main uniforms from 2002 to 2010. Primarily the home jerseys, if you will. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills had the classic blue shirt with the red helmet and all that, which is kind of cool. But then in 2002, they decided to go heavy into navy redesign. It ruined the classic royal blue identity and made it navy heavy. There would be awkward panels with the nameplates, unnecessary outlines, and mismatched color choices. And it didn't feel right with those Buffalo jerseys being there and like that. And of course, Buffalo having that playoff drought. But yeah, it just didn't sit right with me. Number 8 is the throwbacks of Green Bay's Acme Packing Company throwbacks. Primarily, 1994, the NFL had their 75th anniversary, their diamond anniversary. Hey, I'm a diamond. What do you expect? Anyhow, Green Bay was one of the first teams, and they decided to have the navy jerseys, tan pants, brown helmets, and tiny font numbers. It was more confusing than nostalgic. I know that the 1920s, this was their first jersey and all that, but, brown on a Green Bay Packers jersey? Yeah. Well, the brown helmets were kind of to symbolize the old style football helmets and all that. And then the navy jerseys, I don't know. But the numbers on the front were very tiny and all that. They should be a little bigger. You could always put the circle and then the number in there. It makes sense. It was kind of cool and all that. But, it just ticked a lot of people off. And ironically, guess what number 7 is? Chicago's 94 throwbacks. These aren't going to be the last throwbacks, trust me. But the fact of the matter is, the Chicago Bears and their throwbacks from 1994 were terrible. The orange and navy vertical striping had historical roots, but it looked like clunky and costume like. Well, they did wear them on Halloween 1994 when they played the Minnesota Vikings, but yeah. On a modern NFL field, they looked kind of awkward and all that. You like the vertical striping, you should have the numbers and all that. But it just didn't make sense, and people didn't really like it in the Chicago area. Number 6, any team trying to do the damn color rush attempts. The color rush jerseys to me are pretty bad. Well, some teams can pull it off, like the Buffalo Bills, and they're all red. The Patriots all red, or all blue. Nah, that's okay. The Seattle in their highlighter green jerseys, they look pretty good. But there are teams that tried too hard to get into the color rush thing with the whole color thing, and it came out flat. I can't think of too many teams off the top of my head, but half the teams can pull off a good color rush, half teams can't. And why would you want to do a freaking color rush on Thursday Night Football and all that? Yeah, it's to make Thursday night special and for the ratings and all that. But sometimes the color jerseys are off-putting. Yuck. Number 5 is Philadelphia's yellow and blue throwbacks. From the 1930s, the Eagles, they had the yellow and blue jerseys and all that before they went Kelly Green in the 60s. But yeah, it was intended to honor the franchise's early years. However, it looked like a college practice set from another sport, or practically just a created jersey from the NCAA football games, when you could do that. The Eagles had some very good throwbacks, to say the least. And, you know, the Kelly Green throwbacks, as I said, in my top 10 jerseys looked pretty good, but yellow and blue just didn't make sense with the Eagles. It's kind of like Green Bay's navy and brown. Can't work. Number 4 is the AFL jerseys of the Denver Broncos when they started in the AFL, the American Football League. Brown and yellow throwbacks. They went with brown jerseys, mustard yellow pants, and vertically striped socks. It was a strange color combination, and it just basically made you think of shit and mustard. Shit and pee and all that. If your pee is mustard colored, then you need to see a doctor or drink a lot of fluid. But anyway, brown and mustard just didn't make sense and all that. Denver kind of changed their jerseys to that bucking bronco in the 60s, which wasn't half bad if you watch the Madden show. But the fact of the matter is that Denver went with the brown and yellow in a sense for 2010 when the AFL was celebrating its 50th anniversary and all the AFL teams that were still around had to have jerseys and all that signifying the anniversary. The Broncos jerseys weren't half bad. Like, they kind of changed it with the yellow and brown striping and all that, which wasn't half bad, but, it still never felt Broncos-like. Number 3 is the two-tone helmet of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have had some great jerseys, all that. They actually had a nice, sleek logo design that looked like the Jaguar from the Jaguar car company, but they were fearing a lawsuit, so they couldn't do it. It's like the Ravens. They had a thing of all that, and a car company, I think, was trying to sue them. But anyhow, Jacksonville's helmets, well, nothing's wrong with like a gold helmet. But the stupid thing is the helmet looks terrible. It's a black to gold gradient. Practically looked unfinished. When you look at it, one side would be black and then it turns into gold. It was just basically as if the equipment staff stopped painting halfway through, or basically didn't realize, oh, should we be painting gold to black or black to gold? Yeah, it just doesn't work out. You could kind of get away with it if one half was black, one half was gold. It would look less shitty. Just me saying that. Number 2 is the alarm clock uniforms of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You thought I was done with Tampa. Nope. No. Anyway, Tampa's uniforms were awkward. They actually changed the numbers on the front of the jersey. They changed the font. They made them on the front where the normal block numbers and all that fine, but then they made them look like alarm clock fonts and all that. The digital style numbers were image. They put a jerseys as a gimmicky look that felt outdated and all that. Alarm clock. Not a lot of people have alarm clocks nowadays, but yeah, the digital clocks, and it looked good on a clock, but not on a NFL uniform. Not just for 1 year, but for 5 years. If it was 1 year, it'd be different, but it's 5 years. But yeah, the alarm clock uniforms just basically made things awkward, and you had to be scared if everything went pitch dark with the Tampa jerseys. Like, would you recognize those the clock numbers? I don't know. And number 1 is the Bumblebee throwbacks of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you can't blame Pittsburgh for doing these throwbacks. The black and yellow. They're always black and yellow and all that. However, the horizontal black and gold stripes made the Steelers look less like a football team and more like a caution sign. It was memorable, but not stylish. I mean, yeah, the black and gold look is there, like these in the 70s with, the not fearsome foursome, the steel curtain, and nowadays in the 2010s, which aren't half bad. But the simple fact is, Pittsburgh tried too hard to emulate their 1930s look and all that. And let's not forget Pittsburgh with one version of their throwbacks being kind of like the prison stripes and all that. And they had the numbers. So if you look, the numbers, you had like square and the numbers. You had one number here, one number here. And basically on each, like, breast, if you will. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, they had the yellow, and then they would have squares, and then put the numbers in them. Kind of look like old school scoreboards and all that. So that was kind of awkward and all that. But yeah, it's fun to see. I mean, if you see the stuff on Madden and like NFL 2K5 and all that, you can look at the jerseys and all that. I've done that many times, and I've done some uniform shit. Anyhow, I'm Jeff. I'm gonna do.